Hi, so today I want to talk about quite a bizarre idea, and this would be a thought experiment of having an ethical obligation to kill a human being for the benefit of other human beings. Now, granted, I don't think about killing people that much, but this is something that I have been sort of playing around in my head with for a while, and it's an interesting argument that one could make and think about. So, essentially, the thought experiment would be that you are in a room somewhere in front of you, there is a button. If you press this button, you would get 1 million money, whatever currency is just a lot of money. You would get 1 million, let's say euros. Once you press this button, a random human being on the planet dies. The odds of you actually killing a close friend or a family member is almost zero. So you press this button and you get 1 million euros. Now, one could argue that the ethically right choice would be to press that button because with this amount of money you could do way more good and save way more people than just the life of this one person. For 1 million euros you could save at least thousands of people, and have left over to live a comfortable good life, whatever you want to do. But one could argue that as long as you save with that money more than one life, if you at least save two lives with this amount of money and all lives being equal, then it would be morally the right thing to do to press that button, to kill that random human being and to get that money, because the outcome, if everything in the world is equal, it would be much better that two people are saved rather than one. And you doing nothing would be disregarding the possibility, the opportunity to help a lot of people. In the extreme, it would be only just more than one or two people. In reality, you could save hundreds, if not thousands of people, or at least make vast improvements to a large number of people's lives. I guess there is an interesting question of what quantifiable amount of happiness is worth the life of one human being. I guess one way to approach it would be to look at the life of one human being and to sort of calculate or add up the total maximum happiness that they could ever have in their entire lifetime, the maximum well-being, and then sort of add up the happiness that you would get by improving the lives of other people. And if this amount of happiness by improving the lives of other people is greater, larger than the total maximum happiness possible for this one person's life, then it would be right for you to choose the happiness and benefit of these other people rather than the life of this one person. One could make such an argument, and I would agree with that. This is the trolley problem of when you're in a train and the train is headed for 3 people, but if you pull a lever or press a button, then the train goes to a different track and kills just one person. I would also say that morally, if you want to do the right thing would be to press the button and to run over the one person instead of the 3, which would happen if you would do nothing. There's also this interesting thought experiment of what if there is a city full of people or a town full of people, thousands of people, all are perfectly happy living their lives. But the cost of that, the cost of these thousands of people, women, children, men, whatever, all of them having good lives, happy lives. But the cost of all that is that in the basement of one building there is a small girl being held in chains and tortured for her entire life, and for this sacrifice the entire thousands of people are living a good life. Now, this ties in to what I talked about before about the maximum happiness, possible happiness of one person as spread out across different people, so that different people have total more happiness than this one person would have. But this thought experiment of this girl's offering, to me, is absolutely disgusting and repulsive, and I would never approve of any situation where that would be the case. To me, that is just gross and pathetic for things to be in any sort of that kind of way. But it's an interesting idea of morality and ethics, what is right and wrong. If you live enough, if you learn enough, if you think enough, then you figure out at one point that, of course, nothing is truly good or bad. There is no right or wrong thing to do in the world. There is only right and wrong things according to other people and belief systems and religions and the culture in general. But truly, fundamentally, in the universe, in the fabric of reality, there is nothing telling you what is right or wrong or good or bad. Those things have no meaning other than the human mind, our imagination of what we picture and imagine. what is morally acceptable and what is not. But I think there is a strong driver. There is something inside us that has this sort of moral compass, so to speak. But going back to the thing where we started from, this is an interesting question, and I would say that this is something to think about. What do you think about it? If all lives are equal, then sacrificing this one life for the benefit of many, many others would be the right thing to do, because you maximize the happiness in the world. If there are two different states in the world, one is lower happiness and the other is higher happiness, then for you to do the thing that results in the world being left in the state of higher happiness is better than leaving it in the state of the lower happiness, I would say. And I would be interested to hear if anyone would argue that. Of course, some people would say, who are you to make that choice? But again, I would counter that with, if you truly look at all lives being equal. Another interesting question, at what point is it justified, or when should you stop pressing that button? Because if you can do so much good by pressing that button once, saving hundreds and thousands of people, why not just press it again 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, 1,000 times? 10,000 times, 100,000 times. When will it end? If you could benefit everyone so immensely by such a small cost, universally speaking, everything being equal, it would be a small cost. 1 life for 100 life, for 1,000 life. It would be a small cost. When would that equation go wrong? And if you'd be sacrificing not for 1 million, but 100,000, 10,000, when would it stop having meaning? I guess this is exactly what we spoke about before. It's the total possible happiness for this one being versus the total possible happiness for the other beings, for whatever the other option is that you do. If that outweighs in the total possible happiness of the maximum happiness of this one human being, then it would be worth it to do, I would say. But I would be very interested to hear your thoughts about it. So I hope it was interesting in some way. If you have any thoughts, please share them in the comments. And of course, thank you so much for watching, and take care.